Carlo, thanks for stopping by.
Hey, what's up, man?
You're like Mr. Maryland. As soon as I said I was coming to NECANN, you like hit me right up on LinkedIn. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good show.
Yeah, it's been really nice and chill in a great way. Actually, it's like good, steady, quality folks coming through.
Yeah. And you're based here, yeah?
Yeah, I'm in Maryland.
We're going to talk about your business in a sec, but talk to me about Project Dream, because I'm gonna try to describe it. They're going to give me the right answer.
Okay.
So there's the Maryland Dispensary Association, the MDDA. Used to be something else. MDA.
Yeah.
I knew there was
Medical.
I knew there was MDA or MDMA somewhere. It always made me laugh talking about it. But within that, there's Project Dream.
Yes.
So an affinity group within the organization that promotes equity and social equity within the industry. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do that? I mean, it's a group of volunteers, obviously. How do you do that?
So a lot of the things that we do, like I said, are within the specialties of the volunteers.
Yeah.
And where that's fallen to, and really perfectly in alignment with the state's goals and missions, is providing help for social equity applicants.
Yeah.
So last year, for an example, what we actually did was put together cohorts where we did basically 12 in the first group and 10 on the second group, and taught them everything that we could within a 3-day workshop, basically. Then they even got to do facility tours from lab testing, processing, cultivation, and then they actually also got to spend one-on-one time at a dispensary and an owner and manager.
So see how the full life cycle of the product runs, but then also spend time in a business they might be operating at some point.
Yep, and that was really cool because we had, like I said, 22 people between two cohorts that we did last year.
Right.
And we had 16 people who decided to apply, and all of them actually passed into the lottery.
That's good.
And then from that lottery, we had 3 people get 2 of them were standard dispensary license and 1 micro dispensary.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good, and they are obviously more prepared than if they hadn't taken the course. But also,
that's what we like to think, right?
One of the other benefits that I'm thinking about, they also have connections within the industry.
Yep.
Right. So it's not just they understand it better and they might know some operational things, but they actually have connections. If they need tech, if they need compliance, if they need law, legal, all those things, they actually have that group ready to call upon.
So we're trying to pretty much take what we learned from that program and how can we make that more reachable and accessible. So for this coming year, if you imagine, we'll be breaking out these workshops into these 1 or 2 day events at much larger venues and more speakers, more clinics.
Right.
So we can, again, get something. You can have an event where you have 100 folks and have them break out, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be looking to host at least 3 of those this year. Yeah.
You're not kidding. The volunteers are being called upon.
Just to make sure we're available and people have the help they need. We'd love to be one of the states where our licensees are one of the highest rates of open to, getting a conditional. That would be awesome for us. So that's one of the goals. And, if we get some of the partnerships we're searching for, with places like CCBC in Baltimore County, we might even be able to double up our efforts.
Yeah. And so it's all about getting people more prepared to get a license, more prepared from the open. So it's about getting to day one, and then from day one to day 365 as well and beyond, because that's also part of getting a license is staying open and being ready to run. And I'm sure there's folks within the cohort of the volunteers that can help with that as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we are also looking into what happens post licensing and post doors open.
Yeah. It's hard. That's when it's funny. There's always I find talking to a lot of people who are applying. It's we got to get to day one, got to get open, get open. And then it's day one, it's oh my God, now we have now it's all bunch of different challenges. Now, if it's retail, we're running a retail operation, we have staff, we have inventory, we have tech and compliance, we have all these things that weren't even part of necessarily getting to day one, but now it's that is the business, and it's a difficult one to run.
Yeah, it's I think I'm glad people like you exist, right? It's what happens after. How do you get the message out? Is one of those things. So to dive into it a little bit more, so people know what to expect, just in case they see this episode. And well, cool, you got classes, right? So even some of the classes we'll dive into. Maybe you can come speak.
Oh, sure. Geez, I'd love it. Love it.
We really want to go beyond 101, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we see around branding or marketing, but what are the very specific activities or parts about our company that we need to make, right? I feel we need to have a whole hour on content creation.
Yeah. So we just talked about it with a compliance person, a consultancy, he was saying he's now, with the clients that he's helped get licenses, working with them on like compliance marketing. He's like, but that's like, that wasn't part of the business before, but now people are open. It's like, how do you get people to write Google reviews? Like how important it is to have the right infrastructure for marketing. And the best story most of these folks can tell is the business owner and operator is why they open and operate the business, right? Like that, their story is so compelling, not only to us as an industry, but even to consumers who would come in and buy things.
You know, that's one other thing I think that's really amazing that you just mentioned there is storytelling. And that's a big part of why like Dream exists, is there's a lot of stories out there that are not being told, and we think they should be told, should exist, and honestly a lot of them are fun, right? And to have them included in the industry, well, I think fulfill us, a lot more.
Absolutely. So that's Project Dream. That's obviously specific to Maryland, but also has implications. Like it is a model that I'd love to see replicated in other places as well. But talk about what you do when you're not volunteering and doing that work. Talk about your business.
Yeah, so you're probably wondering out there in the world, right? Like, how do you keep all this up? And so the good thing is I've actually worked in like the ERG space, creating employee resources or just building community. I come from traditional tech, and I'm in the industry now trying to bring what I've learned from traditional tech into this space.
That's where everybody is trying to bring out what they did in their previous life into what they love, which is cannabis. But talk about sort of how you do that and what you do, what the company does.
Yeah, so my company is called Kuya. We're an analytics company with a consumer side as well. So for businesses, we're providing an easy-to-use dashboard that hopefully will help them sell and market better. And that means to us taking a lot of the different point-of-sale data they have, right? Their social data, where these folks are coming from, what they're about, putting that all in one place that's like easy to read and understand, so that they could focus on the sales, the marketing, the experience side of the customer, right? So that's what we do. It's like what we learn in big tech is that you really have to take, the true sentiment from people is like, what are they saying? What are they thinking? And it takes a lot more than looking at just sales data to really make that happen, and that's what we're working on. I like it. So that's like how we ended up here. And
well, that's your story.
yeah, exactly, like you said. And another part of our story too, that kind of ties all this together with Dream, what I learned and took away from the traditional tech space, other than how valuable data was or is that how valuable community is. Working for a company like Microsoft, the giving arm was like one of the things that really drew me in. And being a co-president of Blacks at Microsoft, I saw how powerful it is to be an ally of groups that just didn't get a chance to tell their story. Right? And so that's really where all of this comes together, is I believe in data. I think data helps tell better stories. But then I just took this thing that's been part of like corporate responsibility and a DNA with me and my founders, and now we're in the cannabis space, like, goals to be a source of truth and a place for belonging.
And it's fun.
It
can be fun. It's hard. It's a hard business. They're hard businesses to run, even if you're doing what you do or what I do. Like, it's still difficult because of the ups and downs. But it is. I feel like you're in this room or any room with people who are really committed to the space. You can feel it. It's I've been to tech conferences too. It feels different than that.
Yeah, I think being from the area, cybersecurity is a huge one. But like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we could get away with pulling off a drum and bass B2B event in cannabis, but I don't know if I could do that in DC CyberSec.
You're right.
So yeah, that's and also cool thing both with Dream and Kuya. For the world out there, we'll be doing a lot of fun events.
Okay, well, good.
Not just all the workshops.
I noticed your booth. You're sharing your booth and have people coming by that I know well that also see the fun part of it too, and could probably throw a great party with you, and probably have already. But I appreciate you taking time to stop by. It was a coincidence that we're booth buddies. Like your booth, you can't see it.
You're 420 and I'm 422.
I know. When I saw the thing, like pick a booth, I was like, I think 420 is available. And I had to double check. I was like, how is 420 available? I was like, great. And then I realized, actually, I got it. They were going to move the numbers. And I was like, no, this is fine. Let's keep it this way. But Carlo, I appreciate you coming by.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dope.